for the Susan Taylor Podcast, where we discuss the yoga of mind, medicine, and healing. Author of Feeling Good Matters, Sexual Radiance, and the Vital Energy Program, Dr. Taylor imparts authentic knowledge and practical tools that inspire, educate, and empower us to be a healing force for positive change. So join us and take your life and our planet to the next level.
Hello and welcome to Podcast 50. Is your current multivitamin giving you what you need? More people than ever depend upon supplements to help fill nutritional gaps in their diets. And according to a recent survey, nearly 68% of those polled took dietary supplements regularly, with 97% including the vitamins and minerals. Because remember, supplements are a broad range of topics. Today, I'd like to discuss the evidence that one tablet or capsule simply can't provide what you will essentially need in a supplement if you're looking at it as a vitamin and mineral supplement, if you're really looking for high-quality supplementation that you expect. You know, it appears that everyone is in the market for nutrients that will support a healthy life, especially when we're eating on the run and perhaps feeling a bit out of sorts. You hear that one capsule or tablet for a multivitamin is all you need, but this doesn't really deliver all the nutrients that you actually may need. If you're currently taking or considering taking a multivitamin with a recommended serving size of only 1 or 2 pills a day, I believe you're probably not getting what you need. Why? Because it's doubtful that 1 or 2 tablets or pills can be packed. You know, they have to take all these nutrients and densely pack them enough into a little capsule or tablet to truly make it all happen. And it's really, I don't think it's truly going to make a significant difference if you're just taking one little capsule a day, because I don't think there's enough packed in there to really see a difference. Keep in mind, the makers of multivitamins have an agenda in mind, and sometimes it's not the agenda of our best interest, and sometimes it is. It depends on the quality of the manufacturer. You know, just the other day, one of my clients had mentioned that they were all set with supplements and that they take a vitamin, once a day vitamin, and that they're, as it's advertised, and that's all they need. And mind you here, let me say, I don't sell supplements, but I do ask what people ingest, because when I put together a custom plan for them, I really need to know what they're doing. So be wary of any claims that 1 or 2 capsules or tablets a day will provide you with all you need, especially if your diet's compromised and if you're really looking for naturally whole food types of supplements. The multivitamins have come up with some pretty amazing ways to compress those ingredients, I must say, and it's really not down to where a single tablet is going to give you as much as you need. As I keep mentioning, single tablets just don't work. However, again, if we're looking at synthetics, it may, but we really don't want to be doing synthetics. I think we want to be looking at more whole food supplements. And then so you're not getting the vitamins necessarily that you really need in the correct format. But let's look at some minerals. Many makers of the, with 1 a day types of promises, you just take 1 capsule a day, they have to not put in all the essential minerals like potassium, magnesium, inadequate amounts. They couldn't fit it in. That's my point here. Remember, the RDA, recommended daily allowance, people don't like to go over that in conventional systems. But the RDA, I'll give you a quote, the average daily dietary intake level that's sufficient. So it's the RDA is the average daily dietary intake level that's sufficient to meet the nutrient requirements of nearly, they say, 97 to 98% of healthy individuals in a particular gender and life stage group. Life stage considers age and, when applicable, pregnancy and lactation. And that's the end of the quote. Healthy individuals, I'd say, what does that mean? Anyone out there listening knows also that we all digest differently. Namely, absorption and assimilation varies in all of us, and it's compromised in many of us, especially with all the chemicals that are in the foods. So how can a minimal daily requirement for healthy, quote unquote, individuals be sufficient? I'm not quite sure. Here, I'm not claiming, again, mega doses of vitamins. If we define healthy as stress-free with optimal energy and focus, then maybe we have something to speak about. But let's face it, who is stress-free in this current state of awareness of our culture? I mean, we work at it, but I think there's a lot of stresses that exist, especially with the air pollution, water pollution, and food pollution. It's creating stress on our system. I have found that many are experiencing burnout, fatigue, lack of focus. Is that healthy? Oh, no, I'm healthy. Well, if you can't focus for more than 5 minutes, how could you be healthy? You can't. Health means balance. I'm not talking about life and death here. I'm talking about being balanced, being whole. And what about other nutrients from sources like vegetables, fruits, and herbs? Should that be put into your multivitamin? We see tons of that being put in. I say tons. I'm being exaggerating here a bit, but we see so much put in. Oh, they're doing this fruit, this vegetable, this herb. Are the herbs even being put in synergistically? I don't know. I don't think so. I think people just put things together to make it sound good. Some top-line manufacturers, though, are blending some fruits, herbs, and vegetables, and it's a blended whole food mix into their formulas, and that's making these supplements based more on food sources, and they're not all synthetic. So the body is going to assimilate them a little bit differently, and this we're seeing as progress. I know I'm seeing it as progress, that people are starting to become more aware. Whether it be for just financial gain, we're not going to judge that, but we are looking at the health of the human organism at this point. Even our loving pets that we have at home, we have to really consider what are we giving them for supplements, but that's, again, another story for another day. Before we jump further into all the nutrients I believe, should go into a multi, let's review some points from the last podcast as to why multivitamins are not created equal. And I mentioned quickly due to mechanical farming, commercial farming techniques, fertilizers, remember the ammonium nitrate, the glyphosate in the soil, and GMOs, genetically modified organisms. So our food supply is dwindling, and although we have extra yields, the nutrient density is certainly not there. Supplements derived from polluted soils will have an impact on our health, or worse, put health at risk. So remember, you must be very cautious when choosing a product to ensure your multivitamin really benefits you. But first, let's ask the question that you may have been asking lately. Do you really need a multivitamin? And does a healthy diet provide you with all that you need? And again, as I mentioned last week, they're great questions, but you have to be eating, a very good diet with organic and pasteurized foods, and maybe not then. So we know that foods have really changed dramatically over the past few decades. I started in 1925 when I was talking about mechanically doing farming to help the farmers, up until present day. That's quite a long time for food to start dwindling in its composition. And that's why we want to look at some high quality multivitamins and mineral supplements to provide you, possibly to augment the diet that you're utilizing now. So we have a clear picture of why your food may not be providing the nutrients. And again, that's from the last podcast. So now let's look at some supplement facts. When you're looking at a multivitamin, you really want to be looking at not just what the RDA, the 100% RDA, recommended daily allowance, because as I mentioned, it's based on the minimum daily allowances. So here's a criteria that how you could find a high quality multiple vitamin and mineral supplement. It must be produced by a highly reputable company with the highest quality control manufacturing practices that are already in place. You have to go beyond, as I mentioned, the recommended daily allowance and the daily value guidelines only for certain vitamins and minerals, and these are just minimums. It must include the added bonus of essential minerals if it can. Many high-potency multivitamins lack important minerals. Some people take a mineral supplement separate. Minerals should be absorbable. Here's where this is a very, very fine point, but most minerals are not highly absorbable. They're very hard for the system. Remember, we're always speaking about digestion. How much can we assimilate? So when we chelate something and we combine it with a form that lets it be more easily absorbable, that helps. So you look for chelated minerals. And the dosage should be high enough to provide adequate amounts. In other words, just 1 or 2 tablets a day might not be enough, so you have to check that. There are many low-quality vitamins out there demonstrated by so many companies. There's 2 things to look for then when choosing a supplement: the sheer number of nutritional ingredients as a whole, and they're supplied in significant amounts, and the fact that we use the chelated minerals. Remember, chelated minerals, as I just mentioned, they've been combined with amino acids or other molecules, as I mentioned, to form more bioavailability. Something's more easily absorbed by the system. Magnesium, zinc, selenium, copper, chromium, all those are very, very good. We want to let me just look at some other ingredients that you may use in separate products because they are supplements. I just thought I should throw them in today. Calcium's a major nutrient and very difficult to absorb in the system, especially without magnesium and vitamin D. So a lot of people are pushing calcium supplements. I noticed that some of the vitamin companies are not putting calcium in because to really get the minimum of what we really need, especially women with bones, issues of thinning bones, we really need to have more calcium in our supplementation. However, and that usually can't go into a multivitamin. You could see them in supplements. They're usually about 250 milligrams. And some people have been told that they need to take 1,000 a day, especially if their bone density is challenged. But that's something to really talk to with a healthcare provider that's really monitoring you. And what you want to think about, though, is the citrate, malate, and ascorbate are the forms that have the best absorption with calcium. My next favorite is magnesium, and that's my all-star favorite because that's needed for everything. It's over 300 biochemical reactions, as some of you may have already read in some of my work. And it also, not only 300 reactions, but it also supports lungs and pulmonary system, even the whole body. It's quite a remarkable mineral. And the latest research shows that magnesium may actually help protect your cells against the harmful effects of EMFs, or the non-ionizing radiation that surrounds us. 24/7, that is. We never really get away from it. But remember, magnesium works with calcium and vitamin D to promote bone density and health, and it also helps with the muscular system. And so again, chelated forms usually absorb a lot better. And so they're the kinds of things that we want to consider. And then there's some other things that I'd like to just bring your attention to. When people talk about vitamins, they say, oh, the antioxidants. And what they do, and I have a little bit of an issue with this because everything is fear-based. They said, oh, remember, your free radical scare technique, they're going to destroy, you have to rid them. Well, all your metabolic processes make what we call reactive oxygen species, and they're called free radicals. It's just a normal oxidation process that happens in your body. Now, if you start saying, oh, I'm going to get rid of them, and I'm going to attack them, and I'm going to combat them. Everything is always combative and attacking. I'm going to kill the cancer and do this. No. I think we need to embrace. We know that that's a natural cellular response. Embrace it. Take good nutrients so that when a free radical, or let's call it a reactive oxygen species, happens in our body, we have enough of a supplement in our good diet and the antioxidants, like vitamin E, for one, is an antioxidant, meaning it combines with a reactive oxygen species, an ROS we'll call it. The ROS, people call them free radicals, but they're ROSs. And it combines with that, and then it can leave the system without doing any harm. But if you're filling your body with junk and there's nothing around that it can combine with that's healthy, that's when you have the problem. Otherwise, your body is not really set up to attack itself. That's not the way the nature works. It's the way humanity has come in, and we get into this mental state instead of the being state, of course, from the heart. We're in this mind state of conquering, attacking, fighting, and that we don't want to attack, or we don't want to attack or even approach the body with that kind of mentality, because I think you'll hurt yourself more. So antioxidant formulas are other forms of supplements that are geared towards helping with this free radical production. And it's useful to take, but not with the attitude that I'm going to take it because I'm going to kill off the free radicals that are really being produced in my own system. No, nothing is bad. It's only bad when we start creating it that way. It's better not to have those feelings and those images in our mind, I should say, feeding our mind with negativity. And as I said, vitamin E is one of the biggest ones. There's actually, when you look at your vitamin supplement, you want to look at, there's 8 different active compounds. They're the tocopherols and the tocotrienols. And those are the natural ways that vitamin E is present. Many manufacturers use the synthetic. You want to look for the alpha derived complexes, because the alpha is what we find in nature. So it's very, very useful. Vitamin E is an antioxidant, so it helps match up with those ROSs and sequester them right out of the body. So is vitamin C. That promotes tissue, healthy tissue growth and repair. Remember, ROSs, or reactive oxygen species, actually can cause a breakdown if they're not escorted out of the body. So vitamin C is also another antioxidant, which means it combines and carries it out of the body. We also have other things to look at, like vitamin A, and beta-carotene is a better source of that because it converts to vitamin A and you don't have a problem with overdose. Also, let's look at some vitamin D, which will be included in many multiple vitamins. Many people put vitamin D2 in because it's less expensive, but D3 is the better form because it's the more active form that you want to look at. And you also have the other super nutrients in there, L-cysteine, lutein, lycopene. They even put the red wine constituents in there for cardiovascular health. You're going to see all of these types of things. But again, it all depends on where it's outsourced, or, how they're sourcing it, how it's grown, and all of those types of things have to come in to safe manufacture principles. Because remember, whole foods, which we want to have in our supplements, grown in rich, unadulterated soils, is where most nutrients exist. And that's why some supplements that are now being advertised are not always as good as they claim. But also there are people now that are doing vegetable and fruit-based products. And again, that includes a wide variety based on where they're grown. Again, you want to keep that in mind. And so keep all of these things in mind. You don't want anything with GMOs in there. You don't want any synthetic products. And a lot of people, and again, the high quality manufacturers are really out there paying attention. You'll pay a little more. Now, I'm not saying more expensive vitamins are necessarily better, but if someone's going to put all that effort into where they're getting their products, they're going to be much more expensive than if you're going into a wholesaler and buying a vitamin for 1 penny a bottle, or, $1 a bottle, $4 a bottle, or whatever, depending, again, on what it is. So keep all of those things in mind. Is your current multivitamin giving you what you need? Well, you have to do the research and see, are you getting what you need out of the label? And keep all those factors in mind when you're making those decisions. Well, that brings me to the end of this episode, and I'd like to say, do your research before going out and purchasing your supplements. And any questions or comments on that, please let me know, contact me at susantaylor.org, and I'd be more than happy to give you some feedback. And if you'd like some topic, like this week and last week had to do with topics that you wrote in for. If you'd like any other topics, let me know. I'd be happy to review it and put something together for you. Contact me at susantaylor.org. You can also sign up and register on YouTube if you'd like for the podcast, or iTunes. And please vote us in if you like it, and subscribe. I'd like to hear from you. Until next time, remain calm, consciously aware, living in the moment.